Hi, this is Vince Reilly. The internet's now contemporary of less contemporary musicians, but of still contemporary music nerd. Alles klar? In 1980, I went to a gig at the tiny rock garden in Covent Garden in London to see an Australian band with the intriguingly Pinteresque name of The Birthday Party. The singer was a rakish figure, barely older than myself, and badly in need of a square meal, screaming about being a fat little insect and a stripper. On the strength of this, I went to a bigger gig of theirs, the Victoria Palace, and was beforehand lucky enough to bump into the singer himself, outside of the gig, a one Nick Cave. Coming from there, I asked, "How do you like London?" In a weirdly tiny voice, probably to save it for the concert, he nodded, "Well, the architecture's amazing." As chance would have it, an hour later I was supporting his weight while he kept his feet on the stage and straightened his left arm on my head and screamed into my face. How do I remember this? How does one ever forget? And by golly, he looked angry. Rightly or wrongly, I tend to associate many singers or bands with a cluster of records that touch me the most as their strongest. For example, Bowie's Berlin Trilogy, or Radiohead's Kid A and Amnesia. And with Nick Cave, it's Let Love In, The Murder Ballads, and The Boatman's Call. After these, Nick Cave somehow drifted from my radar. However, recently, my old mucker, Tim Dyer, who lives in Cave's hometown of Melbourne, let me know that the Bad Seeds had reformed and their next CD could be promising. Writing challenging music is subjective. You have to put your neck out and write and play what you think. To kick against the pricks, as Cave would say. On an infinitely smaller scale, writing a music review for fun is okay, not in any way the same, but here goes. Wild God starts out loud and joyous and upbeat and full orchestra and optimistic and big gospel-y choir and heartfelt and the band so fuck yeah and the Cave at full throat. And then the album continues to sound loud and joyous and upbeat and so on. And again and again. And there are quieter moments or changes of instruments and style, but then it again gets loud and joyous and blah blah. And I sometimes prefer to be kissed on my eyes and lips than always succulently full on the lips. Mwah, get off of me. Of course, Cave has probably suffered more than most. His father's sudden fatal car crash when he himself was 19. Heroin addiction and then non-addiction. His 15-year-old son's falling from a cliff in Brighton. Another son, Jethro, died at 31. God have mercy on us. We do need hope in our lives, too often overwhelmed with personal tragedies. And also, as we now face a present world of senseless wars, migration, forced or less forced, popularism and mass stupidity, same thing. So, Wild God, a great album, even a classic. In 1972, Chinese premier Zhou Enlai was asked about the impact of the French Revolution. Too early to say, he replied. I thank you for listening. Welcome any comments, and Wild God by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. As chance would have it, they are now on their Wild God tour and will be performing in Oberhausen, which is the next town to here, on the 24th of September. So, do we have tickets? Bye.